Your personal statement. Why is writing a personal statement so hard? It's very simple. It's because most people take advice that's really meant for other parts of your application and they cast it onto the personal statement. And so what ends up happening is that you try to stand out, you try to fit in, you try to balance yourself, you try to show your passion, you try to explain your low grades, you try to put all your special experiences, and you try to put all your achievements into one 500, 650-word essay. And it doesn't work that way. Because what you've basically done is take 3 pages worth of information about yourself and try to cram it into 1 page. And any time that you give yourself only 1/3 of the space that you are given to say what you really need to say, you're going to struggle. And that's just the real reason why personal statements are so hard to write. So when you proportion it out, the activity sheet, that's where you should stand out. That's where you should talk about your passions. That's where you show your achievements. How did you go above and beyond? All the experiences that you do that's important to you, they go in your activity sheet. Additional info. Whatever you didn't put into your activity sheet or your essay, put it into your additional info. You have a whole page to do that. So give them your balance. Are you left brain and right brain? Your passion, low grades, everything. Basically look at it this way. Anything that makes you above average should be in the front part of your application. Anything that explains why you're not, at least above average, for example, you have a condition, you have some kind of experience that made your grades go down, don't put that up front. That goes in the back. So your essays, what goes there? It's a defining experience. A defining experience pretty much consists of a few things. Number one, it reveals your distinct gut instincts. Now, what a lot of people will do is they'll talk about, oh, like my family member passed away, or I climbed the mountain and I almost died doing it. Or they talk about something that's emotionally charged and draining. Now, the problem when they do that is that if you got into a car accident, well, guess what? Anyone who gets into a car accident at 30 miles an hour is going to have the same exact gut reaction that you do. So the exact same coping process, the exact same I'm stronger because it didn't kill me. Anything that you do that's an achievement that you feel like, wow, I really raised the bar for myself and now I feel like I can do anything, you've got to prove it because anyone else who does the same thing, that wherever their bar is set, is going to have the exact same internalization. So what's a distinct gut instinct? A distinct gut instinct are the things that you do in your personality type that not every single human being on Earth does. So just some quick examples. Some people, for example, if they're in a team and they realize that the people on the team don't really care about each other and they're just kind of there, like track, they just want to run their races, go home and whatever. Most people would be like, okay, cool, that's a culture, no big deal. I'm just gonna do me and I'll just, peace out when I'm done. Some people have in their gut instinct to feel like, well, I like familial bonds. I have an urge to create these deep relationships with my acquaintances, and then they'll create, spend 2 years of their life trying to create bonding activities for their whole team and bring people closer together. That's just one example. There are certain things that you do, because everyone has a different personality type, there are certain things that you do subconsciously that not every person would gravitate towards, and that's what makes your character distinct from everyone else. You don't have to be unique. Nobody's unique, but you can be distinct. Next thing is resolve. Resolve matters because if you write an essay about something that was kind of trivial or just kind of like spur of the moment, it's not really going to matter long term because resolve only happens when you care about something. And the way admissions officers see it is this. They want to see what you're like internally when things actually matter to you. Second of all, they want to see your intelligence. Most people think that intelligence means how smart you are, how much you know, how well read you are. Not the case. Many kids get into top colleges and you think that an 8th grader wrote their essays, and I'll explain why later on in this presentation. Intelligence is basically 2 things. Before you go into a situation, and this could happen in an instant, it could happen over several years, how does your mind think about what you should do to affect the best outcome? When you go after the fact something already happened, how does your mind think to figure out what you should do better next time so it doesn't happen again? It's as simple as that. That's the intelligence, but here's why it matters. This character makeup doesn't change. 4 years from now, you're not going to be involved in the exact same activities that you've been involved in high school. 4 years after college graduation, you're not going to be involved in the exact same things that you did in college. Your life is constantly changing. That's the only thing that stays constant in life is change. Now, even though change is constant, history repeats itself. And that history is your distinct character, your resolve when things matter to you, and how you demonstrate your intelligence. There's a certain kind of balance, anytime you're in a situation that will repeat over time. Now, In College Zoom, we've identified over 20 types of defining experiences. It's like a plot line. There are certain sequence of events that happen to you, and the scene's different, the specifics are different, but there are certain things that if you fill in your blanks with your own story, you'll have a unique story that's unlike anyone else. Okay, so your personal statement, it's not an English essay. And so if you get an A in English class, don't be surprised if you get rejected from your college. Now, we know that there's a lot more than the essay at stake, but you can get into a college that's a top school with an essay that got a C in English. And here's why. So syntax and grammar, English classes are all about that. What's your artistic style? How poetic are you? Now, the problem is that colleges don't care about this. What they really care about is your content, which is have you shown an experience that really just defines who you are, and they care about your structure. Because every single story has multiple angles. What angle do you show us? Are you telling the right aspects of that story? And how you convey it in a way that makes sense so I can follow exactly where you're going to go. When it comes to these two subsets of writing, the top is called macro editing, big picture. The bottom one's called micro editing, small picture. The small picture stuff is your natural voice. And if you ask any admissions officer, they're going to tell you that we don't need you to go pay a college counselor $150 an hour to check your grammar. Your natural voice is your natural voice. There's kids who are still learning English. There are kids who are good at math and hate writing. There's kids who are good in science and hate writing. And these kids go on to college somehow, but that's because it's the content of your character that matters, not how polished. Just because you're not a good writer doesn't mean that you're going to be doomed in college admissions.